Hello there, everybody. My name is Clive Robinson, and I am the owner and sole practitioner at Listening Hand Therapeutic Massage. And you may have seen the live yesterday. That was an introduction to the tissue in our body, fascia, and just gave a brief overview about fascia, that it's a tissue that surrounds our muscles, that in a healthy state it's more or less liquid and allows the muscles to glide across each other and function as they were intended. And it also has a capacity to start to solidify and actually get the muscles to stick together. And I want to talk a little bit more about that today, and then give an actual step or action that you can take to help keep the fascia open. So, as I was saying, the fascia has this quality of binding together. And generally there's two reasons that happens. One reason is that there is inactivity in the body, and so when there is not movement going on, the fascia starts to solidify. And in research it shows that it takes about 20 minutes of inactivity before it starts to solidify. Now, it's not something that's drastic, like all of a sudden we turn into a concrete block. No, it just starts that process of solidification, which, for it to get really tight, really almost calcified, it can take years for that to happen. So in that 20-minute period of time, it starts to solidify. And like I said yesterday, when we wake up in the morning, there's that need to move. Well, that's moving that solidified fascia and getting it liquefied again so that our muscles and our skeletal system glides in the way that it was intended. So inactivity is one way in which the fascia starts to solidify, and then the other, as I mentioned yesterday, is a trauma. It could be a surgery, it could be an accident, it could even be an emotional trauma that causes the fascia to tighten up. So the fascia is starting to solidify, it's starting to tighten up in our body for whatever reason, and ideally we don't want it to be in that way. So one of the ways to help out with that is to introduce movement. Now, I mentioned yesterday massage therapy or yoga as a way to introduce that movement, and in severe cases that's really something that's necessary. However, today I want to give you something that you can use on your own at home, or even actually at work or in any situation, to help to mobilize the fascia. So here's a simple concept. Whatever it is that you're doing, particularly inactivity, so let's just take sitting at the computer, because a lot of people sit at the computer or they're sitting in the car. There's that seated position. Whatever it is that you are doing that's repetitive, where the fascia is starting to solidify in your body in that form, do the opposite. So if you're seated, stand up, stretch your chest, look up, move your arms wide open, and then introduce a breath into that new movement. So what you've just done is you've taken the fascia that's bound up or that's starting to solidify in that posture of seatedness, and you're just simply doing the opposite. You're standing up, you're stretching out your chest, you're opening up your arms, you're looking up to the sky or to the ceiling. And that will begin that process of mobilizing or liquefying that fascia again. Now, if you introduce something so simple as that, doing the opposite and taking a breath, that's all it is. Do the opposite of what you're doing and take a breath in it. And you do that 3 times a day. You set an alarm when you're at your work station or wherever you're at, or you're taking a drive, pull over, do that movement that's the opposite, what you're going to do is you're going to keep that fascia from solidifying more and more and more. Because like I said, it's when you do it for years on end where you're not introducing any movement that chronic issues start to come into play. So if you just add that movement into your life throughout your days, you're going to be taking a huge step towards improving your body's sense of well-being or feeling of well-being and functioning throughout the rest of your days. And it's one of those things that if you do this, you're not ever going to find out what it's like if you don't do it. If you don't do it, you're going to experience more than likely some discomforts in your body that might make things in life a little less desirable. So that's my offering to you today around fascia, is something that you can do in actual action to help with liquefying the fascia in the body. So it's that movement of the body that helps to liquefy the fascia to keep it in the state that it was intended to be. And the way that you do that is by doing the opposite of what you've been doing and taking a breath. So if you're seated, stand up, open up your chest, move your arms back, look up, and take a breath into that differed posture and that opposite posture of what you've been doing. Anyway, my hope is that you will actually give this a try, because I can tell you this and it means nothing unless you try it. So my hope is that you give it a try and that you see the difference that it can make in your body and in your life. And grateful again to be breathing the breath of life today and continuing my journey on Mother Earth. And I look forward to working with you here at Listening Hand Therapeutic Massage. Have a great day.